If you're not great at negotiating, you're actually costing
Yeah.
the owners money. You've been hired to find the best buyer,
Exactly
not
right.
the first buyer,
Exactly
because
right.
the market may be tough or whatever.
Yeah.
So once you find the best buyer, negotiate the best possible price, take it to the owners, and if you build rapport with the owners, then the owners would say, like, what do you think? Is that a great offer? Should I take it?
Welcome back to Next Gen Agent, a show for real estate agents where we help them to become the best version of themselves and act with integrity, honesty, transparency, and a set of core values in mind. I'm George Simpson, and I'm here in place of the usual Matt, who's away today, so we're going to miss him. And I'm joined by the one and only Nathan Najib. How you doing today?
I'm good. It's great to be back. We're missing Bowie today. I think he had a post-op checkup, I think it was. So
Yeah, for his knee, poor Bowie, but he'll be back.
we excuse him tonight, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So a bit of an interesting economy at the moment, anyway, with Christopher Luxon's announcement last week saying he's looking to bring the inflation rate down. And we've certainly been very busy on social media, filming all sorts of stuff, including a video about inflation last week. So no doubt being very busy around the office as well.
Absolutely. It's been, I mean, like we've spoken about this in the past, that this is probably helpful as well for agents to know, like, obviously to get inflation under control, and there's going to be high interest rate, obviously. There's going to be to slow the economy down, inflation. To get inflation down, they got to slow the economy, and that comes with a whole lot of like uncertainties and a whole lot of stuff. So it'll be interesting few months. That's why this topic that we're talking about in a minute is very important, particular in any time, but especially in this current economy.
It's an interesting world we live in now. So today's topic is negotiation, which falls under the skill set branch of the Najib triad, which we've been talking about now for the past couple of weeks. And you and I actually spoke briefly about negotiation last time I appeared on the podcast. But I'm looking forward today to going a little bit deeper into it. There's so much that goes into negotiation. It's so important. And, you know, I've prepared a lot of questions for you just because this is something that's going to be so helpful for the younger agents out there, the agents that are seeking to improve themselves.
And agents who've been around for a long time, because you think negotiation has just happened, but it's a skill that can be learned. Yeah. But it just doesn't happen just like this, or it doesn't happen. You've been in the business for a long time, you haven't learned actually how the skill to negotiate. You could put a lot of money, leave a lot of money on the table for owners, or you can break a lot of deals.
Exactly right. So would you say that oftentimes one of the big reasons people hire a real estate agent at all is for the negotiation skills to get the best price? Would you say that? I
think that would be the only reason you hire real estate. Otherwise, you can just, buyers and sellers can exchange email addresses and they can negotiate via email, come up to a deal, right?
Yeah.
Or get the solicitor to talk to each other. I think this is the reason that people hire real estate to negotiate the best possible price for them.
Exactly right. And you said that last time we spoke about negotiation, that you have no right as a real estate agent to be a 5 out of 10, a 6 out of 10 negotiator. Just how important is it in this industry to have high level negotiation skills?
Absolutely. Like, you know, like I said last time, like, you know, you've got to be so good at. There's a bunch of things that you got to be great at. We've spoken about, like, it's like, what is it? Prospecting. You got to be great at generating leads. You got to be amazing at converting lead, and then you got to be great in selling. And then selling, negotiating, because I think negotiation, as I see, like all those other things, they may you can do it, you can get it properly listed, but if you're not great at negotiating, you're actually costing the owners money.
That's true. That's true. So I guess in a very bare bones sense of the word, what does a negotiation involve?
Negotiation is I think there's a bunch of things that you got to do right to be able to get the best possible price for the owners. And also, in my opinion, I think, and bear in mind the way we talk about everything to do in real estate, we want to talk about you got to do everything with integrity, with transparency, and there is no tactics or anything in here. But what I think is, like, negotiation is getting a deal across the line for the owners that they got the best possible price for their home. There is no stone unturned.
Yeah.
And the buyers obviously happy as well, because I talk about this, like, I think it's a win-win.
Yeah.
It needs to be win-win. Everybody's got to win.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it's best not do the deal, because a lot of times, like, it's like just put a deal across the line.
Yeah.
And you've got disgruntled vendors and disgruntled buyers, which is recipe to a short real estate career.
Exactly right. So I guess starting from the very beginning, if you were to be working with an agent who's starting from dead scratch, where would you start when teaching negotiation?
It's a great question. I think, and I talk all the time when I'm having conversation with agents, our people here in the office. I think negotiation starts really when somebody connects with you, as an agent via the phone or come through an open home.
Yeah.
Because I talk to my owners that when I've built rapport with the vendors, with the buyers, with your potential buyers, I can negotiate an extra $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 more, because they're in the same page. They trust me, if you will, right?
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised the amount of time buyers actually ask me,
Yeah.
what do you think we should pay for the property to secure the house? We like the house.
Yeah.
What do you think we should pay for it?
Yeah. So you're saying if you had an agent who was just starting, you'd just take them with you. You'd have them, have you as a mentor and watch you and see how you negotiate.
Yeah, absolutely, because I think that would be the best way.
Yeah.
That would be the ideal way to learn for an agent.
Yeah.
But the truth is, like, you don't have to go and follow somebody from open home to open home or see people negotiate. I'm reading a book called by Donald Trump called Out of Deal.
Yeah.
It's an amazing book, and one of the important things, which I always talk about, is like, you don't want to sound too needy when you're negotiating.
Yeah.
Negotiating in life, negotiating in real estate, negotiating a deal, because you can stop the deal from happening, a sale from happening, if you come across too needy. It's like, be interested, but not too much.
Sure, I see what you mean. So I guess a lot of people out there, me included, learn by example and real world things that can happen. So can you walk me through a successful negotiation that you've handled recently, and the tactics or the skills that you had to employ to make it successful?
Yeah. So an example what comes to my mind, George, is like, just recently a property of ours that we were selling, the offer crashed.
Yeah.
And we had some buyers, but they were not making decisions there, right?
Yeah.
So we've put another deadline on the property.
Yeah.
We've priced the property very fairly.
Yeah.
And seen the ticks out to all the buyers that if you don't come to make an offer, then we'll sell it somebody else, kind of thing, right? Because we had a deadline, we priced it very fairly, and then all of a sudden we had 2 offers. And one of the things that was we did it strategically was I had went to my local restaurant where I do a lot of my offers, and I had 2 buyers come one after another.
Yeah.
So one person made an offer on the property. It was a multiple offer. They all obviously knew. They both knew there was a multiple offer situation, but they saw each other.
Right.
Creating tension.
Okay.
To get the best possible price.
Okay.
And it's not made up. It's just they there make an offer, and then because they've seen each other at the open home as well.
Yeah.
So it's a powerful negotiation without me to try and say anything.
Okay, sure. So there's just these little things that can make or break deals, you're saying, or push the price up or whatever it might be.
Absolutely. The first thing would be is like building rapport with your buyers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They need to feel that you can trust you.
Yeah.
And then second thing is like, don't come across too needy, because a lot of times you think you want to make the deal happen.
Yeah.
We do, of course, we do.
Of course you do, yeah.
But try not to come across too needy. And sometimes, like, if they make an offer of, especially the market that it is now, if they want to make a low offer, you just suggest to them, like, with this property here, we priced it at 779. unless you make that offer on it,
Yeah.
we can show you something else, but not this home here. But
Sure.
most buyers like, no, I want to buy this one here.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to buy this one here, I think it's pretty fairly priced at $779.
Right. So, well, interesting that you speak of that, because sometimes are difficulties in negotiation caused by sellers having too high of an expectation of offers that they would accept. And then if so, how can you get the seller to bring their expectations down and be open or more open to more realistic offers?
Yeah, one of the things I think, like, you can't argue with fact and figures.
Yeah.
Like I talk about this all the time. Owners, me, you, anybody that owns something wants to sell the property, anything you want to sell,
Yeah.
you want to get the best possible price for it. That's your prerogative. That makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
However, if I, as your agent, I've done everything that I could to get the maximum possible price for you, and I've got the facts and figures I've discussed with you at the start,
Yeah.
and I've got an offer, now I've got these facts and figures that I've showed you at the start, and now I'm showing it to you again, it's hard to argue with. And most vendors, most owners would appreciate, like, okay, well, right, we make sense because this house here kind of similar to mine, kind of similar, the offer is similar to what this one is.
Yeah.
Now, I think we should take it.
Yeah, exactly.
So facts and figures, you can't argue with it, and make sure you've got them. Make sure you know the market.
So obviously that helps with negotiating with owners. How can you use your market research and analysis and facts and figures when it comes to negotiating with buyers as well? Would you say to them, look, this property just down the road, that sold for this.
Yeah.
It's very similar. You're offering this. Is that sort of the way that you go about it? Or?
It'll be same thing. Absolutely. What I would do is, like, obviously have thorough knowledge of what's selling in the area.
Of course.
So you gotta know the area like back of your hand.
Yeah.
And then when the buyer comes through, they want to make a cheeky offer, for example. I wouldn't take an offer. If it's a cheeky offer, I'll put it on paper.
Yeah.
The buyers gets a hope that, I've got a chance of owning the property, right?
Yeah.
And it's very hard to negotiate them high from where initially they started. So before I start putting anything on paper, I want to make sure I've pushed them up
Yeah.
higher by 20, 30, 50,000, and then I'll start my negotiation.
Right. Sure.
And obviously that's also backed up by the what else sold in the area. And I, as the agent, when I'm selling a property,
Yeah.
I got to know every single house that sold in the area the last 6 months, right?
100% you should.
Absolutely.
And you should. And I know you've spoken about that before. So obviously we talk about pricing and we talk about making correct offers. Things dictated by the real estate market. Do changes in the real estate market affect the tactics or your mindset towards going into a negotiation? For example, how does your strategy change in a buyer's market versus in a seller's market?
I feel like it's like, it's like in a buyer's market, in a seller's market, you don't really need to do much because everybody's fighting against each other to own the property, right? So you don't need much skills at all. Anybody can sell a house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In today's market, you really need to be great at getting people's information. Even if you get a phone call to your about the property, that goes to the database.
Yeah.
And gets attached, how we do it, attached to the property, because when I'm following through and following up with the buyers on a Monday, Tuesday,
Yeah.
I can bring up the group and call every single person that inquired about the property.
Yeah.
And there's not that many buyers. So now it's more important to be in contact with the buyers. If somebody's slightly interested in trying to get them through a stick-in viewing,
Yeah.
so make sure you've got you keep in touch with the buyers, and make sure the buyers are know exactly what's happening right through the campaign.
Yeah. Whereas in a seller's market, you wouldn't need to do that to such a degree.
I'm telling you, there was like, when a seller's market, like, we was list a property, we have offers coming. People just, I talked about this last time. People will bring in offers in their pocket and say, he's an offer. Seriously, like, agents didn't used to do much at all, and that's why most agents, when a market like this,
Yeah.
they struggle, unfortunately, because they haven't been trained how to negotiate, talking to the vendor, say, hey, where the market was, where the market is now.
Yeah.
And now you got to adjust your expectation before we actually list the house.
Yeah.
And then going to the market, how to keep the buyers engaged.
Yeah.
And then how to feed that back to the vendors.
Yeah.
So everybody can make an educated decision.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously you mentioned at the beginning how important you believe it is to get a good deal on both sides of the sale. When it comes to getting good deals for both parties, how careful are you to strike the right balance? Because obviously you're acting 99% of the time as the seller's agent. How careful are you to strike that right balance with the buyers?
Every buyer knows when they come through an open room, they know that we paid.
Yeah.
Our fiduciary duty is to get the best possible price for the owner. That's
You can't
why.
hide that.
No. So it's 100% of the time we're trying to get the best possible price.
Yeah.
But what I found as human beings, if I'm dealing with somebody who is genuine, who wants to help me, I'm a little bit more comfortable buying something from me. For example, today, like, I've got my car being fixed at the moment. I went to a dealership. I won't name it, but in the dealership, I've been waiting for this guy to fix my windscreen for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's right, you know it, right?
I know about that, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been sending me quotes and stuff, and I'm questioning every single thing.
Yeah.
And I took my car to another dealership. The guy just sent me a quote. I said, I trust you because he built a good rapport with me. I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
And he said, and that's Guild Trap. Actually, I should mention it because they give him absolutely brilliant service. And Yuba is like the best salesperson I know.
Yeah.
So he built rapport with me, and now I don't question anything. I'm like, just go and fix it.
Yeah.
I trust you.
Yeah.
So it's important to build rapport with the buyer, and they know that you're getting the best possible price. So the owner is obviously the best after best possible price, and so are we.
100%. And you can't hide that as much as some agents might like to believe. You can hide that, and they're trying to do the best. Realistically, you are a seller's agent.
Yes,
most of the time.
and some agents, unfortunately, in our industry, just want to get deal across the line.
Yeah.
Like, we don't believe in that. We just see like doing the best deal you can with integrity, honesty, and transparency, right?
Exactly.
So if that's the case, you're always getting the best buyer, finding the best buyer, because you've been hired to find the best buyer.
Exactly.
Not
right.
the first buyer.
Exactly right.
Because the market may be tough or whatever.
Yeah.
So once you find the best buyer, negotiate the best possible price, take it to the owners, and if you build rapport with the owners, then the owners would say, like, what do you think? Is that a great offer? Should I take it?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then they will sign it. So they'll come back to all the way to the start. Like, how have you built a relationship with your vendor at the start, right?
Exactly right. And I've seen in this industry, obviously, we've spoken before about the declining or the declined reputation that real estate agents have, unfortunately, which is something that we're working very hard to change. But I've seen, and a lot of people have seen real estate agents, they've been really pushy in negotiations, or they've just been rude. So how do you assess the other party's position and leverage that during the negotiation?
That's exactly what I was talking about, like being too pushy, right?
Yeah.
Being too needy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're too needy, you're just going to push the buyers off the fence.
Yeah.
So you can't afford to do that. I mean, it's not ideal. We need time. Like, nobody likes to have pushy real estate agent or pushy salesperson in general, right?
In general, yeah.
Especially in this market, because you could cost the owner a buyer.
Yeah.
So you got to be gentle with the buyers, obviously, and invite them. Like the example that I give you about 70 Rotherham Drive, right? I had these two buyers that I couldn't make. They couldn't make decision.
Yeah.
So we adjusted the price, sent the text to everybody, and both of them decided to make offer the property. That's like a gentle negotiation, right?
Exactly right. And you're looking around and you're assessing the situation rather than saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. Otherwise, get out of here. So
if you come across too pushy, they think that even if you got other buyers, they think that you have got no buyers.
Exactly.
Why are you calling me so much? Like, yeah. What's the motive here, right?
Sure.
So don't come across too pushy or needy, because nobody likes that.
Exactly. And something that perhaps newer agents now have to deal with, and I'm sure you did earlier in your career, I know you don't so much now. How do you handle a negotiation where there's a difficult or uncooperative agent on the other side of it?
So if you've got working with an agent who is representing the owners, I'm assuming that's what you mean, because a lot of agents do work as a buyer's agent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a difficult one, George, to answer. That's a difficult one to answer. I suppose you just got to be nice to the agent who's being, and hopefully he would. We encourage for all agents to be nice to each other, because this
exactly.
This industry is like you said, we've got bad reputation.
Yeah.
And we're trying to change this.
We are changing it.
And I think together, and I'm suppose the people that are listening to us,
Yeah.
they are the smart people, the smart agents.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they won't be listening to us anyways, right?
No, true.
So I hope that all agents can cooperate with each other, because I just say it's like, you know what, it's like there is you can live with abundance mindset or
Yeah.
scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
Even if you got one listing, just be open to working with other agents. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Why not? You're in the same boat.
And plus the goal is, you got to understand, the goal is not to sell the house to your buyer. The goal is,
Yeah.
the reason they hired you is to get the best possible price for the owner.
Yeah.
And you haven't got the right to sell it to your buyer if your buyer is paying $50,000 lease, right?
No, you don't.
No.
You don't. So, it's an ethical industry, right? So in the last episode, we had Shah, and I recommend everyone go check that out. Shah is amazing.
She's a star.
She is. But she was talking about fears that new real estate agents have. Obviously, she's reasonably fresh in the industry, only been in it a couple of years now. And one of the biggest fears of new agents is the negotiation process, probably because they feel under pressure and they don't want to miss out on getting the right deals, and perhaps they, just feel a little bit nervous about having things not go right on behalf of their vendor. How could someone overcome this fear?
I think that is a cool question. If I was me like 17 and a half years ago, to overcome that question, what I'm suggesting is advice to myself.
Yeah.
17 and a half years ago, 18 years ago, however long it was, my thing would be make more phone calls, generate more leads, have more listings, then you won't have to worry about. Because the reason you're uncomfortable negotiating is because you don't want to lose a deal, right?
Yeah.
But if you've got a bunch of listings, you've got a whole lot of things happening, and you've got leads coming out of years, if you will, right?
Yeah.
You won't have to worry about negotiating.
Yeah.
It's more of a comfortable way, like, you are, and obviously I know it takes time, so I don't want to take nothing away from these agents, but going back to make it easy on yourself is just make more phone calls, so you know that you've got more leads happening, because if you've got more leads, more listings coming, then you be comfortable negotiating. If something doesn't go your way, you're not going to be pushy.
Yeah, and then that in turn leads to you being more relaxed because you've got so much going on. It's just another thing you have to do.
Yeah, so you got to care, but not too much.
Yeah.
I heard that somewhere. I think it might have been a conference. Maybe it was John McGrath spoke about this. He talks about that care,
Yeah.
but not too much.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be, there's a fine line between not caring at all because you come across as arrogance,
And being too emotional.
yeah, being too caring,
Yeah.
because you just get emotionally invested in people's homes. They don't hire you to start have another friend. They hire you to get the property sold for the best possible price, right?
Exactly right.
You got to be very mindful of that.
Exactly right. So if you were heading into a negotiation, say you're brand new, it's the first time you're doing a negotiation, perhaps by yourself, maybe you're a little bit nervous about doing it. What are just a few things that you should keep in mind? 3 or 4 things that you should just keep in mind if you're going in.
Yeah. So coming back to, I think before you go into the negotiation, you should do some upskill yourself, right?
Yeah.
But if you go into negotiation, walk into negotiation, first thing would be, is like I said, you've got your facts and figures.
Yeah.
So you know what you're talking about, because people like dealing with people who are confident.
Yeah.
So if you're competent, you know a lot about this listing.
Yeah.
Any other property that they compare the property with, you say, okay, right, well, that's cool, but that is not as nice as this, if that's the case, right?
Sure.
So you gotta know, you gotta have the knowledge, the product knowledge, if you will, right? Second one is obviously don't be too pushy.
Yeah.
Trying to, even if you need the sale, just pretend for half an hour, just you go in there to negotiate, to help these buyers. If you negotiate with the buyers, help these buyers secure the house, because people buy the house.
Yeah.
They usually, unless you're dealing with an investor who is just numbers and figures, usually people want to buy the house because they love it, right? People just don't want to buy stuff. It's not a pair of shoes that you can buy and throw it away, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
So they want to buy the house. So you walk in there keeping in mind that you're going to help these guys buy the house.
Yeah.
And then also, over the other end, when you're negotiating if you're going with a vendor might be going to a retirement village. She might be downsizing. So being understanding that people who's got their house on the market, they want to sell.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be too pushy. Just guide them, help them, and be. I feel like if you're genuine, it just comes across. If you're a good person, it's a lot easier to negotiate. And then obviously, when you've got a bunch of things happening, you've made enough phone calls before you get into to the presentation, you won't come across needy because hopefully you've got a bunch of other listings sitting in the office or coming on the market.
Of course.
So you don't need the deal.
Of course.
If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, no, we appreciate that. We'll find another buyer for this property.
As long as you're doing things the right way. Yeah. Exactly right. So you've spoken about being too pushy, spoken about being too emotionally invested. What are some of the other pitfalls that you should avoid when going into a negotiation that could break the deal, that could break the relationship?
One of the things also you got to understand is like negotiation is not always just about the money.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the ego. Sometimes people just think that that's what I want is how I want it, right? So you got to understand also you navigate. There might be a vendor might say, okay, like, I need to go to Australia. So I would like to have the prices. Like I don't mind if I sell it for $10,000 least what I'm thinking, but I want to move out there because my father is sick in Australia.
Yeah, sure.
So I need to be there in 4 weeks' time.
Sure.
So you got to keep those things in mind. It's not always the money. So take that thing off the table, like, just pushing for the money.
Yeah. You spoke about
that's a good thing to think about as well. Like, keeping in mind, okay, what do they want? Do they want quick settlement?
Yeah.
Do you want these a spa that you can take off the channels if you're negotiating with a vendor?
Yeah.
If you're negotiating with a buyer, there's a spa that the vendor may not need. They're going to Australia anyways.
Exactly.
So all those little things keeping in mind as well.
Keep everything in mind. Money's not the only goal necessarily.
It really isn't. No, not always. Because sometimes buyers are like, max a certain level.
Exactly.
And sometimes vendors, the owners need to move somewhere. And it's not all about the money. So obviously they want to get the best possible price. But it's 10K less.
Yeah.
But they can move there in 4 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Then I tend to see that people would accept that if the best was the best possible price, but then the terms are in their favor.
Yeah, true. And then speaking of these kinds of things, in what ways could a real estate agent add value during the negotiation process beyond just the price negotiation? For example, how important is it, or why is it important to maintain a good relationship with both parties going forward after the negotiation?
So for the agent is what I believe in. I believe in building a sustainable, successful period over a long period of time.
Yeah.
And you would see me, and people see me all the time. Like, I talk to people that sold houses for years ago.
Yeah.
Of buyers that bought from me a long time ago. So it's not just keeping in mind that it's not just this deal that you're trying to get together.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind it's a long-term relationship, because in average, I think it's probably less now, but when I started in real estate, it was probably like, a person buys a home, lives there for 7 years was back then, maybe shorter now, I think, because everybody wants to move to next place quicker.
Yeah.
But either way, even if they don't move from that place, bought that place from you or sold that place through you, you want to build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Not just sell this house. And when I'm doing sitting down with them, when I'm doing a listing presentation, I tell them, it's like, for me, this is not, I don't want to just sell this house for you. I want to sell this property for you.
Yeah.
But also keep a relationship with you to sell your next home, your daughter's home, your son's home, your friends, your family's home. So we've got a relationship forever. Our relationship don't stop when the property sells. So that would be one of the things that I would highly recommend, because most agents are horrible in keeping in touch with people for a long period of time.
Yeah. And that's something that's really been recurring in this podcast, which is maintain those relationships. Keep them. Don't sell and then head off onto the next thing.
100%.
keep it, which is
That's a
good.
recipe for short, quick real estate career.
Yeah,
right. If you're just gonna quick sell and move on and put a deal together and like
You're not going to do that too many times.
no, because you want these people to come back to you, talk to people. I talk about all the time. I talk about okay, it's not about the business of real estate. It's not just selling homes, putting deals together. It's about selling homes, doing it with integrity, doing it with honesty, and building raving fans along the way.
Yeah.
Because the whole business, like when I was in real estate, I was selling someplace else. My whole business was a repeat and referral.
Yeah.
And then now we build the brand, Najib Real Estate,
Yeah.
by this whole thing, like, repeat and refer. People always refer us to
Exactly.
other people. And if I can build a brand, a real estate brand,
Yeah.
by repeat and referral business,
Yeah.
surely we can
Yeah.
teach you how to build a real estate brand, a real estate agent brand, right?
100%. 100%. And finally, I just got one more question. You personally have a very strong set of values and principles in both your personal life and in your career. How do these values guide you through negotiations, and how do they affect the way that you approach them versus maybe how other people approach them?
Yeah, I love that question. I love that question because I think we need to have, if everybody, I suggest,
Yeah.
and I suggested that day when I was having chat with the team, is like, you want to sit down at home and write a bunch of things that are very important to you.
Yeah.
A bunch of core values for yourself. Like obviously we've
Yes.
got core values here. That's what I truly believe in. And if my day is not according to everything that I talk about core values here in the office and at home, I can't sleep at night.
Yeah.
I would like to sleep at night.
Yeah.
So anything that I do, before I do it, I pass, make sure it ticks humility, make sure it's like, health, make sure it's commitment, make sure it's progress, make sure it's recognition, celebration.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm doing everything with integrity, make sure I'm not giving people advice. I've given everything I could. It's the best offer. There is no $5,000 more before I tell the vendor, say, hey, I think we should take this offer. So having those values and living by it
Yeah.
is so important. But because we've seen a lot of people, I think a little while back, there was a finance guy that was going to jail because he did some things wrong that he shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
But if you got those values,
You won't be thinking about doing these things wrong.
yeah, subconsciously, like, if you do something wrong, subconsciously, like, nah, Nathan. And it's tempting, man. It's tempting.
Yeah.
If there's like 30,000 on the table,
Yeah.
a lot of people would say, like, I'll take this.
Yeah.
Okay, I can tell a white lie now, but I'm telling you, the 30,000, 300,000, 300 million, whatever it is, not worth it. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because your name is. I feel like for me though, George, like, I feel like what we've got, the people that we have here, the people that listen to us, it's their name is important to them, right?
Exactly.
So if that's the case, which I hope that is, that's why you listen to us.
Yeah.
Then no amount of money is worth you trying to get a deal across the line and lie.
Stick to the values. Stick to
core
your values.
man. Stick to your values. Do things with the right way.
Well, thank you very much, Nathan. You continue to provide valuable advice, insights, and I know you find value personally in doing so because you want to help so many people out there. You help me. You help everyone around this office. It's an amazing place to be. So, amazing. Amazing.
It's a privilege. It's a privilege. It's lovely to be able to do this because if I go back and look at me, like,
Yeah.
I learned from people. I've been mentored right across through my career.
Yeah.
It'll be remiss of me to not give back to this beautiful industry that's helped me.
Yeah, well, it is a pleasure to be mentored by you. I know so many other people feel the same way. And we're not going to stop doing this podcast. No way. So speaking of, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Rate us on Spotify. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section or email them to hello@najibare.co.nz. We will be sure to get back to you. Thank you very much, Nathan.
It's a pleasure. How good.
Until next time.